Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Settle It on the Screen for October 3rd, 2014. I'm Michael Sroka. I'm here with Nick Houslander. We're back finally.
Yes, it's been like years since we've been on.
With Glen Updike. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm doing fine, buddies. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for
holding down the fort.
Yeah, man, that was great stuff.
Interviewing the new King of Kong. That was a very entertaining episode.
Thank you, guys. It was fun. It was fun. Robbie's a good dude. I could talk to that guy for hours for sure.
Do you? That's cool.
Like, do you talk to him every day?
Well, in the Donkey Kong forums and like stuff like that.
Well, I like that you always take my questions seriously and answer them.
Yeah, you take the questions sometimes too serious from this one.
Well, not every day.
If you guys want to check out that interview, it's up on Blip TV, iTunes. Our show from last week, if you wanted to catch up with the new King of Kong, that episode is out there for you to watch. But welcome this week. We got a few things where we got a guest with us, Ethan Daniels. He's getting loaded up here into TG Live 3. He's a competitor in the Donkey Kong community, wouldn't you say, Glenn? Where does he ranked? I'm not on the website. Can't memorize this stuff.
He's up there. He's definitely up there. I know he's got him.
What I'm excited to talk to him about...
in the 40s.
In the 40s? Oh, he's there. His audio.
Hi, everybody.
Top 50.
And what I'm more excited... Granted, our show is more about the classic arcade gaming and the classic consoles, but he's one of the top players of Pac Man Championship Edition CE. I know it's a newer console, but the way I look at it is competitive video games needs to be all one show, and that's kind of what we do here. Especially me, I like the original Pac-Man for the Xbox 3, not the original Pac-Man Championship Edition for Xbox that came out in 2007. That's my favorite retro remake games that is out there.
Came out for the Xbox.
He's going to show us some skills here later on about his Pac-Man Championship DX versions, where it's the game where you just eat a billion ghosts. I mean, it's just non-stop. And Ethan might try to get a 1,000 ghost combo tonight, is what we're kind of hoping for.
That would be epic.
Yeah, it would. If only.
Yeah, we saw you do a pretty sweet one before the show. I'd never seen a ghost combo quite that big before, so.
And it was a warm-up. Hopefully
and to see, like, your
sweet.
Your scores on the leaderboard.
Is the video working or no?
I don't see it on my end.
I'm just having one problem after the next with this. I don't understand.
Hey, the audio's good right now, so one problem at a time.
Yeah, take your time. We got a few other news bits.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To talk about here. So don't worry. It's like I said. It's about the competitive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you can get. Oh, there you go. We got some video, so don't worry about it. Plus, you guys can see my great skills.
Oh yeah, you're really good at that game.
Not as good as Ethan. Nowhere near. Now the original one, then we could have a good contest tonight if we played the original. Well, we're gonna do a little world record news here. I just got one back back on the Twin Galaxies podcast days. We did a review for Duke Nukem Forever.
Hell yeah.
From 2K Sports. They sent us all this Duke Nukem stuff, probably because they need as most promotion as possible.
Which we were very thankful for.
Yes, and it was an okay game.
A great game. A great game, okay?
We can go into that another day.
It's Duke Nukem.
It's a Duke Nukem game. There's no such thing as bad Duke Nukem games.
There's a new world record of speed run of single segment. It's not broken up. It's just one run through 2 hours and 6 minutes by Dum Dum Duggum. I'm trying to find out his real name, but that's his game.
I was gonna say his parents really hated him, didn't he? That's a brutal name to grow up with. You imagine being in elementary school. First is Dum Dum. That would be a bummer.
That's his gamer tag.
Why
don't you get a new console and get a real gamer tag?
I thought it was his name.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. 5 minutes and 6 seconds.
Nick, you take gamers' nicknames too seriously.
I do. I don't know that you can't change your name. My gamer name is always Nick.
My tag, I just use Michael Sroka.
I know you do.
Except for...
So I thought everyone did.
Except for things that I set up a long time ago. Like, for example, on Twitch, my name is Timmel. People still refer to me as Tim a lot, but you know, Xbox, PlayStation 3. If you want to become friends with me, you really should. If you want, you can send me a friend request. Everything's Timmel. There's a story behind that. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah,
People
you
really
explained that insanity on Twin Galaxies forum like years ago.
Yeah, but we don't.
I can't believe you told people that.
So.
It was ridiculous. I mean, it was awesome, but when you're like, I explained the story, it was like, why did you tell people that? Like, they're never going to talk to you again.
So there's some good talk on the Twin Galaxies forum. Everybody's getting all psyched up and recording submissions, waiting patiently for the awesome new submissions, which is going to come out. I can't say when, but I think it'll be here sooner than before you know it. And it's going to be like 2 or 3 years ago where it's nonstop. Oh, new world record. This whole show will be dedicated to announcing world records.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's going to be awesome. So.
Yeah. I mean, it was us digging up world records in the past.
Yeah.
The goal is to literally have too many world records to say all of them on the show.
Yep.
If it gets to that point, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
that's what we're hoping for.
And it's going to be awesome, and more importantly, the competitiveness will be there for everybody. It's
going
to be about drama. It's going to be about settling it on the screen.
Yeah.
Bringing the high scores and stuff like that.
Yeah, the drama is just part of it.
Yeah, you got to remember the drama's here now because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean drama as, can you believe what this guy said? I don't mean that. I mean like the drama as in, holy crap, did you see that score last week?
It was sweet.
Yeah.
Did you see that Zookeeper run?
Exactly.
Glen Updike?
That's true. Zookeeper. That will be the constant theme of the show. Zookeeper will always be the #1 game on the show.
Ethan, you're there. You don't have any world records on the Twin Galaxies board because you kind of were going to submit about 2 years ago. Before we get into the Pac Man and Donkey Kong talk, what are you looking to submit for, or what were you going to submit for back in the day?
So. Back in the day, I was going to submit for this Pac Man Championship Edition game on the PlayStation 3. There was a PSN leaderboard that they were tracking for it, and at that time there was pretty hefty submission guide. I mean, whatever, that's how submission guidelines were, but basically I would have to show the whole console before I would stream all the time, or play all the time. And the sessions just got long and tedious, and I got done with a few scores. And then I called and I was like, I better make sure I'm doing this right before I do all of them. And I just ended up, it was while I was in grad school, and I just ended up getting too busy with school. And then TG changed hands a couple times, and I don't know. I moved out of Philly, and then I started playing a different game. So now, I mean, ideally in the future, I'm going to be submitting scores for at the very least this game and Donkey Kong. Someday I'd like to get a Missile Command score up. I've got a Missile Command arcade machine.
5 Man?
What's that?
5 Man?
Yeah.
Or five
or
ship?
Six cities. That's funny because I always used to call it 5 cities, and Victor, the guy from Sweden, would always be like, "You mean 6 cities, Ethan?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean 5 cities, though."
Yeah. I mean, five man is just the.
Yeah, like a track. I definitely want to do the. I'd like to get good at marathon, good enough to be able to roll it over for marathon. But I also would like to have a 6 city score, because that's that's just like one and done. You do or you die.
Wow, I have not unlocked it on the Xbox because my hard drive crashed. So I have to play through them all to get the championship. I got to play through them all to get to Championship 1. Man, that's my favorite.
Yeah, that is the best. So, for whatever reason, now, on my stream, it's showing the preview of my webcam, but it doesn't show it for you guys. And then when I switch over to my front camera on my computer, that shows up on the live stream. But when I switch back over to the other one, it goes to no video. So, is it alright if I maybe try calling you guys back real quick or something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Try to relog in. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry about this.
Sometimes you have to restart the computer or reinstall Skype. It happens once in a while.
Alrighty, guys.
Yeah,
sorry.
we
I'll be right back.
got it. Yeah, thank you, though, Ethan.
Yeah, buddy.
In a bit.
All right.
All right. So, Glenn, do you have any news?
been kind of a slow week so far.
So far?
Joe West was practicing up for 100 hours on Frenzy.
On Frenzy, yeah. He got in like 22 hours, I believe.
Which is insane.
22 hours? Like, what's wrong with 22 hours of playing? Huh?
The same game.
The same game. What's wrong with it?
Hey, I've done that before.
Okay, Nick, what could you play a video game straight for 5 hours?
The General Grievous game.
The General Grievous game?
I did it once.
Okay. There's this one game. It's not. Is it called General Grievous?
I called it General. No, it's not what it's called.
There's one of these plug and plays that came out.
It was like the Darth Vader plug and play or whatever it was.
You buy it at Toys R Us or whatever, and it has 2 buttons and it's a Darth Vader controller. And there's this game.
Whoa! It's really loud now. Ethan, if you can hear me.
Out again. No, they muted him.
There we go. Yeah, no, it was a game where you were Obi-Wan, and you were riding on. What was the creature that he was riding on in episode 3 when he was on Utapau? I can't remember what it was called.
Remember.
The Bung? No, that's from episode 1. Whatever. He's riding this thing, and he's basically chasing General Grievous. It's kind of like what was the game for Atari where you would just drive the car straight and you jump over it? Was that Bump and Jump?
I don't know.
Come on.
I can't remember.
Anyways, it was exactly like that, where you would just jump over things and you'd nail things with your tail and stuff like that. And feasibly, this game never ended. Mm-hmm. And I played it one night at your house for 4.5 hours straight. And I would refer to that night as the night I had a nervous breakdown at your house. And the part of the cause was playing that game, but the cure was also playing the game. I got to that 4.5 hour point, and I think I had worked through the mental breakdown. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I was over with, I kind of felt this catharsis.
So maybe you do have a feeling for what these arcade marathoners go through. You know, maybe they get to that breaking point. And you've experienced it.
No, exactly. And I don't mean this at all to be mean, but you have to kind of be a little crazy to do it. It's like a crazy thing to do. Because it's more of a mental thing than it's all a mental thing. Oh. I don't even think the physical aspect of it is as tough as the mental aspect of it.
Oh, yeah, by far. Oh, yeah.
It's like, because it's ridiculous. It really is kind of ridiculous to do. And it takes a lot of, I don't know, mental wherewithal to be able to sit through something like that. Because, why would you want to do something like that?
Well.
And that's it right there.
Yeah.
And that night, I definitely wanted to do that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
So you have played the game.
Oh, I definitely have. Oh, are you kidding me? I used to play Ninja Gaiden for 10 hours straight. Yeah.
What's the longest you've played, Glenn?
60 hours on Diablo 2.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah, when the game came out with the expansion and they had the ladders first implemented, it was a race to get max character, and I skipped school on if there's kids watching, I don't recommend doing this, but I skipped school on a Friday and ended, I started Friday at 9 in the morning and ended Sunday night at 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Dude, that's, oh my God.
Were you the first or no?
No, I was in the top 10. I think a guy from Russia with a barbarian was the first. And then a guy from America with a barbarian was second. I wasn't playing a barbarian.
So that might have been the key.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's
So evolved. Well, I haven't done it.
60, dude, I mean, I just said I played for 5 hours.
But the longest that I have recorded is 26.
That's right. Video. Yeah.
What game was it?
Legendary Wings.
Dang, dude.
But the one that's on my Twitch channel is 23, because I played it for 3 hours and then the electricity died and killed my game off, so I started right back up and played.
Oh.
Gotta have those battery backups.
So it was
It's a battery backup. It malfunctioned.
Ah.
I was playing and all of a sudden the power killed off on that section of the house and all I heard was the battery backup just beeping at me.
Ah.
You know what that was? That was your house saving you. That was your house going, buddy, Glenn, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing yourself, man?
That was like the
Well,
8th time I tried to marathon that game, though, and always like something like that would happen. I remember I put the controller down, I looked at my brother-in-law, I'm like, this game is cursed. This cart that I'm playing on is completely cursed.
Have you ever gotten through a game you played it for like, I don't know, say 9.5 hours, and then you thought you were trying to beat it, and then you thought you did beat it, and then you realized, oh no, there's another level here, and then you just threw the controller down and screamed something?
Did that happen to you, Nick?
In fact, it did. It went that 10-hour day I played Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, okay.
I spent about 5.5 hours beating the final guy, what I thought was the final guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally figured out how to beat the final guy, and oh, lo and behold, there's another guy after him. No, I didn't even try to fight that guy. I just threw the controller down and I believe I went online, pulled my Game Genie out, and then beat the game in 15. Yeah, I'm pathetic. When all else fails for me, I just grab the Game Genie and beat the game, and then I never play it again. So.
Well, I actually have a no-death run of that game up on YouTube.
Do you really?
Yep.
Dude, seriously, I got to a point where I could get to the first of 3 last guys without dying, but I could never get to the 3rd last guy. I never understood, like, I even figured out a way I could finally beat the first one, but the second guy I was like, oh my god, like, I don't know how, that game's like impossible. And it's not Ghosts and Goblins impossible, but it's damn near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But you have beaten it, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll tell you a funny story. When I was going for that no-death run, 2 attempts beforehand, I'd made it to the last boss. And
The final boss?
The 3rd and final boss of that boss run, and I ended up dying.
Oh, God, dude.
And I remember I screamed really, really loud.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Smashed the controller onto the ground, and then took like a walk for 15 minutes, came back, had kind of a crappy attempt, and then the next one after it, I did it.
Oh, that's impressive. I mean, that really is. Once I've thrown the controller down, it's done.
I had a backup controller, thank God.
Oh, did you break it?
Yeah, I broke it.
Nice.
I was pretty not happy about that.
Yeah, no, I did that once with the Tommy Lasorda baseball cartridge for Sega Genesis. I ripped the game out of the console, threw it against the wall, it shattered. Unfortunately, the game survived.
That's a launch title.
Mike was there.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Mike was there.
I was trying to get stuff working here. I had a little problem with their chat.
That had nothing to do with the game. I had obviously lost the game.
But it still worked.
Oh, it did.
Did we plug it in without the case and stuff?
Yeah, you plugged it with it. I threw the game against. Of course, it exploded against the wall. This is the Glenn and Nick acting like assholes hour. And I did. And of course, I was like, screw that game. I'm not playing that game again. And then like 20 minutes later, I came back down. They were playing the game again. I'm like, what the heck? Did someone bring another cartridge? They're like, no, we found the game on the ground and we just plugged it in. I was like, no, that was the point. Like, I'm like, no, get a hammer, break it. So we never have to play the game again. But now I'm glad. I still have it. It's like taped up and stuff like that.
It was a good memory and it still works.
Oh, no. It's a great game.
That's comes with world records. There's nobody who's submitted a biggest blowout on Twin Galaxies for that game, and that's something I can.
Oh, really?
I might aspire to do that at some point here in time. So, Ethan, are you there? Are you having mic problems? I see your video, but...
He might have his mic muted.
Yeah.
I had my mic muted because I'm scared of the reverb. Is it still there?
Yeah. Oh, now it's
not. Wait. Don't touch anything.
Touch it.
All right.
No, it sounds good right now, man.
Yeah, it sounds okay. Good.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yes, I've been listening. Just I didn't want to kill you with background noise.
It's a big boost, but it seems Skype will do an auto microphone adjustment.
I
Okay.
think you could almost turn the TV down a little bit, though.
Okay.
Turn, air. I know we
So
got.
I wonder, does my voice get louder if I go over here? Is that louder now? Or?
That sounds good. You sound good.
Okay. I should still turn the TV down. All right. Let me turn the TV down just a bit.
I will say that this version of Pac-Man's probably one of the most addicting games ever.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna try to get Ethan's screen, TG Live 3, in the main screen, but you can control which screen you want to see in full screen at twingalaxies.com/live. You can control the camera, so you can watch Ethan, the great Pac-Man champion player tonight, just by clicking on his camera at twingalaxies.com/live. You can't do that from the regular Twitch page, but that's where you guys can you can see his Exteller play in full screen instead of us beautiful humans here on TG Live 1.
It's over this way, right? I think.
Nick, don't confuse me.
No, that way. Which way is it?
So I guess, what's your first experience with this, Ethan?
Man, I don't even know. I think it was like a Sony special, and it was on sale for like $5. And I always liked Pac-Man game as a child. Like I never really played arcade games a lot as a kid, but I used to go play pool and bowl occasionally, and they had arcade games, there. So a lot of times I would end up playing the arcade game. So I had like some experience with the Pac-Mans as a kid. So I think it was like a $5 download, and I just, downloaded it, started playing it. And I didn't really get into it until the beauty of this game is that for every single event, every unique level, there's a scoreboard ranking, and it'll not necessarily live update. Sometimes it'll take a half an hour, but it'll give you your ranking for that specific event. And what happened was I was just, playing it for fun, and I ended up with like a top 20 out of like 5,000 or 10,000 people score on one of the events. And I was like, man, that's pretty good, right? And then I was like, I should keep playing this game. Maybe I could get good at it. And that was really what made me stick, was that leaderboard, the access to, I might lose it. Oh, that was lucky.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? It was like seeing a ranking was enough of a motivator for me to keep playing. Otherwise, it probably would have gotten stale. And I'm glad I did, because this game's incredibly complex.
Oh, it's so complex and it's so competitive. And my favorite part is what you're talking about, the leaderboard rank. What I was aspiring to is the overall rank when you sign into the game, where it shows on the bottom. It says it takes every single setting in the game and ranks everybody's players. And I remember I'm like, oh, I'm 9,000. Oh, then I beat the Spiral version. Oh, I'm like 6,000. I mean, that was the really cool part about that game. And like you said, this game is, for the depth of it, for the amount of money you pay, is outstanding. I mean, even Steam had it on sale last week for like $3.49 or something like that.
And it's just such a complex game. Like, there's so much stuff that we haven't even figured out. Still like things that could be optimized, and that's the beauty of the game. There's, I don't know that there's a minimum time for every time trial. I don't know that there's a maximum score for every score attack. It's just, you know what I mean? Like it's not a static game, and with a finite, or what would that be? I guess fixed interval. You know what I mean? It's like a continuous scoring interval. I don't know. It's great.
Right.
It's like you have a strategy that works really well, and you're trying to complete something in a specific amount of time, and someone will do something completely ass backwards, 100% different, and they'll shave like 0.01 seconds off of the time, or 0.03 seconds off of the time. And if you never saw the replay, you would never know how they did it. And that's what I mean. Like, the game's just so deep, in that there's always a different way to do it.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the points too, you get one guy he shaved that little more time off, so he got 6 more pellets, before the time was up and stuff like that. And that's what makes it real. That's what I was. Granted, I guess there is a leaderboard, and I know they were hacked, but the original, we're talking about we're looking at Pac-Man Championship Edition DX, and that's definitely more popular because it's just a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. You're just eating thousands and thousands of ghosts. I mean, it's so addictive. But I really got into it playing the first version that came out in 2007, just Pac-Man Championship. There's only 4 ghosts still, but the different patterns and the different little things you do make a huge difference when it comes to how much time you can complete. And that's how I got addicted. There was still individual leaderboards, but they didn't have that overall leaderboard aspect, which I think makes the DX version, just way more popular too. Plus, it's on all the systems too. I think the original one is only on Xbox.
Yeah. Well, now you can get it as a download on the PSN, but the controls aren't optimized. Something's wrong with it. Like, my buddy used to have that game. So actually, yeah, I guess that really was my first exposure to it. Now that you mention it, when I was going to school down in Philly, I had a friend that lived down there, and I didn't live down there yet. And like, some days I would go down, either before or after class, and just go hang out at my friend's place. And he lived with another dude that I had gone. Like, I went to high school with both of these kids. At any rate, we would play this game, and the championship edition, not the non-DX, just that same course that you're talking about with the 4 ghosts, and they had the weird extra modes and stuff on there as well. But we would all sit there and be like, "Oh, who's driving out to get food?" And we would have like a 5-minute score battle to see who had to go out and get food. Whoever got the lowest score would have to like do the work,
Oh, awesome! Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. So when I finally ended up getting the DX game for the PlayStation 3, when I found this level, I was like, oh, I already know this map, So this was like the first level that I fell in love with on this game, and then that's what kind of bled into all the other ones, I guess.
Very cool. So you got a favorite one? I think we're talking off air before the show started. Was it Championship 1 is your favorite?
Yeah, Championship 1's my favorite because it's the most like an original Pac-Man, and to get really high scoring on it, you have to basically eat 4 ghosts for every pellet, and that's like as close to high scoring on an original Pac-Man game as it gets, like even like the really old ones where the last, I don't know, half of the boards you run the same pattern over and over again, and you can't eat the ghosts, but like it still matters to eat all 4 per pellet in the beginning, and it's like that's why I like that one, because it's like truly an old Pac-Man.
Yeah, and what's really important about the Championship 1 is you need to get all 4 ghosts, because that makes a big difference on making the speed go faster in the DX. Well, in both versions, the DX and the regular. That is very crucial to make sure you get that 4th ghost, because at that point multiplier goes up, and that makes your speed multiplier goes up, and that speed is really important to get going right away.
Yeah, and for the time trials, that's actually another thing that like when I say that, like how I think the game's so deep, like there's this give and take, like checks and balances system where like you trade detours to pick up extra ghosts for keeping your speed slow, and it's like, so do I take the short route at a slow speed, or do I take the detour and get my speed up really fast? And it's like there's a give and take, and you just have to keep doing experimentation and figure out what's the most effective or efficient way to have done it for that particular run. And it's fun because you don't know, you just got to sit there and grind for hours and like think outside the box, be like, well, this isn't doing anything for me, what am I going to try now? I'm just keep trying something different.
What are you going to try different? And then sometimes when you try something different, it's like, oh man, that pushed me back. That's a way worse way to start it,
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't know
absolutely.
how to get out of that. And sometimes it's tough to get out of your normal pattern or your normal flow, because it's like, oh, but my normal flow is so comfortable. But if you don't extend yourself out of those boundaries, you're not going to get any further. For example, I think I have a score on Championship 1, actually on the Twin Galaxies scoreboard, of 528,000. But I could never just get out of my normal pattern. And I watched a few videos, like, I got to somehow get out of my pattern to break 550.
Yeah, to figure out a way to get past this and come up with something. You can do it. You can always do it. And another thing that's really good for that is sharing. You know what I mean? Like, like I always felt like I was better at like devising ways to get the points, but I wasn't the best at thinking creatively for time trials and that kind of stuff. Like routing and planning and like I was saying, the checks and balances of eating ghosts versus not eating ghosts. And the guy that lived in Poland, who like him and I worked on this game together, you know, we would like send videos back and forth, and I'd send him emails, you know, broken English, and he would have to like translate them to Polish and then translate his answers. It was great. Awesome. It was so funny. Yeah, you know, and it's like, well, I don't know. I thought it was so funny. And he was like really into EDM, electro dance music, back before I even knew what it was. And I always used to laugh because he would like send me these replays, and I was like, man, listen to this music he's listening to. And you know, here I am 5 or 6 years later, and I listen to EDM when I play Donkey Kong. So it's almost ironic. But yeah, the moral of that story is that I got to a point where I was stale because, you know, like we're creatures of habit. You end up getting stuck in your ways, and you can't come up with new ideas, and then you get frustrated and you put it down. But it's like when you get someone like that can help you, you know, you see the entire game differently. It's like, oh wow, you know, and then you see their run and you're like, oh well, he could have done this slightly differently, you know, and then you end up improving what their time was, and it just ends up keep going back and forth and back and forth. So it's nice to have two sets of minds working on stuff like this, so you don't get stuck in your way.
I know too that like some of my scores that I have, when I bumped it up, I was running a pattern and did something on accident that just kind of improved my score a little bit.
Yeah, that was like when we were on Skype, the event that I'm just doing right now. Last night I was talking to you and I was like, man, I just improved a time by accident. I didn't even expect it. And sometimes it seems like it was slower, but somehow it ends up having been faster. I don't even know. I don't know how it works that way.
You might have did something like get your speed up quicker or something like that. You know, who knows?
Yeah. Or sometimes you just get like really good randomness with the ghosts. Like, you know, like they'll spawn in your path.
Yeah.
4 or 5 times more than they should have, you know, and you'll end up at speed 50 much sooner, and your score will end up higher, and it's just like totally not reproducible. And that's what's that's what's great about this. Like it's like DK in the sense that there's enough RNG in it that you're never going to see the same screen twice. So I guess that's probably one of the draws. And I think another major draw is that once you get to speed 50 on this game, it's too fast. It really is. Like you get used to it the more you play the game, but I think that's a reason why you stick, you know, like, because in the beginning you get to speed 50 and you just can't do it. And you're just like, no, I know I can do this. You got to keep going and keep trying.
It's like the first time you play level 9 on Tetris, and then all of a sudden you realize you're like, oh, I'm in level 16 now. How am I even seeing this?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great analogy for it. And like the fact that, you know, it's too much in the beginning, I think is a part of what makes it addictive. Because, you know, it's like it presents you with a challenge right from the get-go. But the goals is like...
You'll look at it at first and you literally will be like, this is impossible. No one could do this.
Yeah.
It's a challenge where you'd be like, well, could someone do this? Like, why would they even put this in the game if no one could do it, you know?
They don't want to make it too hard. Oh, my God, I suck. My contacts are falling.
Oh.
The contacts.
It's always definitely the eyewear. It's always the problem.
Put the old one in. I'm probably going to stay on that one, too.
Must be the controller. That's going to be the next one.
No. I'm using the Xbox controller I always use.
Yeah, that's why the old systems were the best. You could always blame the Atari controller.
Ever played this?
I'll tell you what, I could blame this PlayStation controller. I've burned a bunch of these things out. Seriously, I have like a stack of like 5 or 6 PlayStation controllers sitting here. The joystick handles just burn out from like going around the circle. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like from rotating the joystick.
Yeah.
Have you ever played with a arcade joystick?
No, I haven't.
I have.
It was fun, but then it's just whatever controller you originally started with, you know, is better. Oh,
yeah, I could see that. I feel like, I would almost feel, you know, like naked without my thumb, without this thumbstick. I just don't think I could react fast enough. Thumbsticks are quick, you know.
Yeah. Even though I prefer joysticks, I tried it with the joystick because I have the version on Steam, so I could plug in my arcade panel to my computer. And
that's sweet.
I couldn't get used to it. from all the hours I spent playing with the thumbsticks.
This is a question. This is kind of like a Twin Galaxies tracking type of thing. You know, we're patiently waiting for the scoreboard to come back. I guess I kind of want all your takes on this, but I think this game is identical. Whether if you played on the Xbox, Steam, or PlayStation, this game, what would you guys think for Twin Galaxies tracking purposes? Should it be all tracked as one game and not differ between systems like it is now?
Well, the only thing that I would say about that, and I really don't know a ton, is about Steam, because I'm not really a PC gamer in that sense. But from what I think I know about Steam, I'm pretty sure that it's all open source. So like I feel like there could be questions about what's necessarily going on with the Steam version of this game. But I will say that I had a buddy's Xbox for about 6 months, and I downloaded this game. I don't even remember why he brought it here. So when the most recent Halo game came out, my buddy bought it and then brought his Xbox over here, and it just like crashed on the couch for like 3 days, and we played Xbox, and then he left it here for 6 months. So anyway, I played through the whole game on Xbox, and I didn't notice any difference. So I would say for sure PlayStation and Xbox are comparable. The Steam, the only thing that could be different is that, I know that because it's open source, you could change anything.
Yeah, theory. You can get in there and break it pretty much.
Start playing Tinkerbell.
Speed 50, yeah, exactly.
Like you always could with the Atari.
Yeah.
You could always mess with it.
Yeah.
Which is great, especially when you didn't realize that you could mess with it. And then you're like, wait a second. You're at your buddy's system. Like, why is this different? Like, I swear I'm good at this game. And why is this so fast?
Not at my house, you're not.
All right, I got Championship 1 unlocked. I don't have my my hard drive got corrupted, so I gotta re-unlock everything. I finally got to Championship 1. So let's see if I can get my 550 at least. I don't know.
Let's see.
I doubt
that
it.
happened to Ben Falls twice, and then he stopped playing, unfortunately.
That's why you should get the one on Steam.
Ben was getting into this game. I was really excited, and then like his whole save game file was corrupted, and he was like, "I'm never playing again." And then a week or two later, he started another save game file, and then like a month after that, that one got corrupted, and then he's like, "All right, now for real, I'm never playing again."
Yeah.
Ben, if you're listening out there, I will buy you a copy on Steam. They're only like $5.
Yeah, Ben.
You got a Steam account, and that way it won't get corrupted.
What do you think about the new ones they released? I think a year ago. I'm not quite sure when they were released. I haven't played them.
Mixed reviews, I'd say. I like them. They're definitely unique and different and fresh. They weren't necessarily thorough. Like if they took the time to make the course and to make the course maps and to pin all the layouts of all the ghosts and set everything up, like for them to only release the level with a 5-minute score attack is incredibly short-sighted. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the full maps. If they release it, that would be my gripe. Was that if you're gonna make the new levels, at least release them under the same format as all the other ones. Like, put up the ghost combo, put up the 5-minute score, put up the 10-minute score, and the time trial. So for me, that's one drawback. But like I said, they're really unique, and I do like them a lot. The second drawback is that you had to pay for them, and because of that, they didn't include them on the leaderboard. So it's like you want to invest the time in the levels, but in the same sense, you don't. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I really want to play these, but then you feel like if you're still trying to improve your overall high score, then it's like, well, I'm wasting my time. I should be spending my time on the levels that actually add up.
The ones that are actually counted, yeah. I kind of got that feeling too. So, because I bought them on PlayStation, even though my ranking's higher on Xbox, and then I was like, I should have bought them on Xbox, and it's just like, oh well.
I'm surprised. Why did you buy them on PlayStation?
Because I don't play my Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, the only reason I keep my Xbox is for Pac Man Championship Edition, the first one, because it's only on Xbox. Other than that, I've actually switched all my favorite games from Xbox 360. I've actually traded them in for PlayStation, just because my PlayStation, I don't know, I just have I loved Xbox, but then after a while, just the new sign-in and verification, I just got frustrated one day, and I don't play Call of Duty anymore or anything like that. So PlayStation
And
PlayStation has won my dollars PlayStation 3 has won my dollars the past few years because of the PlayStation Plus and stuff like that. Because actually, Pac Man Championship Edition, if you were subscribed to PlayStation Plus, was free.
Yeah.
And granted, if you subscribe now, you can't get it for free, but it was a great deal that's why I have it on PlayStation, actually. So granted, when I stop my subscription, I won't have it anymore, but I've paid for this game twice already. So
I thought you were going to say like 5
actually,
times.
I've paid for the Pac-Man edition on iPhone and iOS, the Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Yeah, I bought one of the Android version of this game or something like that.
Dude,
I suck.
Yeah, Tim is your game speed though, Mike. This is the lucky level.
I should be at 50 game speed by now. It's minute 23.
I don't know. It's impressive to me, man.
I know. Well, what I'm excited for is when the scoreboard comes back, I think this will be competitive again, at least, and put the true world record scores on Twin Galaxies scoreboard. I think this is one of the newer games that translates perfectly to what Twin Galaxies has been tracking for years, you know.
Yeah, and to be honest, this was my doorway. This game was my doorway into classic arcade gaming, you know. I was like, oh man, I really do like these kind of old games like this.
What games did you play prior to this? Like, what was the type of game you used to like to play?
Man, I used to play a lot of stuff. I mean, some of it was competitive, but not, like, really. So, I played, like, Tiger Woods game.
Oh.
You know, I used to play like that semi-competitively because that was online. That was probably the first online sort of game like that I played. But, man, I remember playing, you know, in undergrad, me and my one roommate used to play SSX Tricky.
Oh,
That
I love that
game. We used to play that semi-competitively, and we were like, we just tried to beat each other's high score on Garibaldi, which is like that first big trick level, and you know we would just play until we could get like a 2 million, just ridiculous stuff like that. When I was younger, I played all the Zelda stuff, and like Mario, and I don't know. I was never really a competitive gamer as a kid. I just played games. I really enjoyed them. Like I was lucky enough to have a Nintendo Entertainment System as a kid, and my parents, you know, they would take me out and let me get new games and go sell my old ones back and, you know, trade them in and constantly get new stuff.
What was your favorite system, or what would you say is your favorite system? Just computer, or?
Man,
wow, what are all these questions?
I know,
man?
sorry.
Heavy loaded questions.
I like to ask everybody these questions.
Desert Island, you have to pick one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Desert Island. You could either pick a system or a game. Like, or maybe you like this game or this system because of this game or something like that, you know?
I mean, I guess, I don't know.
It could be this. It could be, you know, Pac-Man Championship Edition, too, if you'd want.
Well, to be honest with you, I'd say the game that, or if anything, there's a genre of game. I think the Zelda series is a game that I've appreciated more than any other gaming series out of, you know, anything. And to be honest, most of the Nintendo exclusive titles, for whatever reason, I've always had a lot of respect for. Like, all the Mario games, all the Mario RPG games, like the Bowser stuff, and like the Wario's Castle on Game Boy. Like, I don't know, but like I was just a huge Zelda fan, and like I'd like to think the Nintendo, because you know what I mean. Like the first Zelda game I had was on NES, and like that ended up leading me to play through essentially all of them up through the GameCube and the Nintendo 64 and the Wii. I stopped at Wii. I never got a Wii U, but and I didn't get a PS4 or I don't know. But you know, in the same sense, I could say it's this game, because if it wasn't for me liking this game enough to actually get into it seriously, then I probably would like never be a part of the classic or competitive gaming scene at all.
Yeah. Hey, shoot. I mean, you just said NES to Wii. That spans 30 years of gaming, or 20 years of gaming. So
I was lucky in that regard. You know, I was like 5 years old right when the NES came out, or 6 or 7 years old right when the NES came out. You know, and I was lucky enough to get one. It's just like, I kind of miss the arcade. That was like a little bit before my time, but now I'm getting into that. And with emulation,
I was the same way. Yeah, I was about 5 when Nintendo came out, and I don't get me wrong, I always loved the arcade games, but like me and Mike have talked about in the past, when we say arcade games, we're talking about like late 80s, early 90s arcade. We're not talking about Pac Man and stuff because we weren't born.
I mean, they
yet,
were there. We played.
Oh yeah, we played them, but it was like there was Mercs and Captain America. Like those were way better. You know?
Yeah, like Virtua Fighter and like, geez, what else? Area 51, like those kind of shooters, you know, or
Street Fighter.
like,
the Cruis'n World games we were obsessed with.
Yep.
I like The Simpsons. You guys remember the Simpsons arcade game? That was one of the first ones I played as a kid.
Oh, yeah, I spent $20 at the arcade when I was like 11 years old. It was awesome. We beat the game. It was sweet.
Yeah, we used to go to like bowling alley with my parents and me and my buddies, and my dad would just be like, "Here's a roll of quarters. Go play the Simpsons game," and we would just like. They didn't need to worry about us for like an hour and a half. Our eyes were glued to that game. We weren't going to cause any trouble. It was like the easiest $10 you ever spent.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, my buddy's dad gave us each like $10 in quarters or whatever, and we spent every cent on the Simpsons game, which is in hindsight like really there's like 100 games there, and you just but when we beat the game, and it was like a point of pride for years, so it was totally worth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
I remember that.
What you need to do, Ethan, on Guinness World Records, I submitted a score like 2 years ago, and you need to go submit a score and beat mine. Because I got a certificate in the mail the other day.
Hey,
I didn't know it was coming.
Really?
I have a Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Guinness World Records certificate. It says I am the champion on what do you call it? Championship 1. And my lousy score is 530,000. So
you like came close to that tonight, eh?
I got 430.
Whatever.
Here, for what it's worth, 530 is not that loud. Oh, here, that's the wrong menu. 530 is not that lousy. I'm gonna go to the scoreboard real quick and see what 530 would be on the PlayStation scoreboard for that. Yeah. My guess is you'd be in the top. I could be wrong because I haven't looked at this leaderboard in a long time and whatever, but I'm gonna guess that's in the top 35 or 40 out of the 28,000 or whatever on this leaderboard. 35,000.
I did it on
Would
Xbox.
you say
530.
What is it? 530.
I'm trying to load it. Yeah, if you go on Guinness, you can Guinness World Records Challengers. My video's up there of what I did, and actually the funny part is I think if you look in the upper right hand corner, it shows 540 because I've got 540 before, but I'd never recorded 5.
Oh, but you didn't have it taped.
I don't have it taped.
But you're still like that's like in the top 150 out of 35,000 ranked players. That's pretty darn good.
You're right. That's not that lousy.
No,
we got some
lousy.
We got some questions.
You can improve it. That's a reason to revisit if you really wanted to.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my. I mean, this game I'll never get sick of it, and I will play it all. Especially Championship 1. That one is just, it's cemented in my brain from the first one, just the way the pattern is and where you eat the stuff. But what I'm saying is you need to go up there and change that score, so then I will have to go back and go for it. That's all I'm saying. Because that's my problem is when I'm first on some leaderboard.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm first on TG's leaderboard. That's good enough. I ain't going to play it. But then when somebody beats me, it's like, no, I have to go back and beat it. So
all right, I like it.
I get a score that motivate me more to kind of play.
So was that certificate you got from when you were like obsessed with this game a couple of years ago? When every time I'd come over your house and you were playing it like nonstop?
No, actually, the Guinness World Record I sent to Guinness was about last year. I just
okay, yeah, that is definitely different.
I was just since Twin Galaxies wasn't owned by the current ownership, and there was really no place to submit a score that would be considered a world record.
You just sent it in.
I sent it to Guinness's World Records Challengers Edition, and it's a kind of cool thing where you submit your video and everybody can see what you did.
Yeah.
So I submitted it just for fun. I didn't expect a world record certificate, but it was like I got an email the other day. Hey, what's your address? Bam. Mail, and I got a certificate.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It was pretty cool. So now what they have on their website, they only have specific challenges, like certain, like they had a few blowouts for FIFA and stuff like that. They were just looking for information for their video game books, kind of the way they were doing it. But
that's a cool website, though.
But
for that reason,
when I did this Pac Man Championship DX, that's when I wasn't I'm not into DX as much as I was the original one. When you saw me playing the other one,
No, I
that's
remember
when
that.
I was obsessed with.
No, I remember that was that like 3 years ago?
It's like 4 years.
Was that long ago? Wow.
yeah.
Okay. No, I remember that's all you. It was like your obsession
crack.
after. It was worse than crack.
It was worse than crack.
Yeah.
It's like meth crack.
Well, you know what's that's really funny because I read a game review once online after I had been playing this game for at least a year, and like I've never done any hard drugs ever, but the review that I read was like from some kid, and he was like, that Pac Man Championship Edition DX is the closest thing to methamphetamines that I could ever explain, you know, and I was just like, wow, that's a really funny game review, and I was like, no wonder I'm so addicted to it, because like I used to come home from work and like I would, you know, a long day at like grad school of, you know, teaching or class or whatever it was, and I would turn this machine on and oh man, like the first run, my hands would just be sweaty and my brain would be racing, you know, and I was just like, that's probably what the rush from some hard amphetamines is like.
And you're just like, I need more.
Oh yeah, especially with the lights turned off.
Yeah, and before you know it, man, you know, you'd spend 5 hours playing this game, just sitting there, like, what did I do with my night?
Oh yeah, I got 15 minutes. I can play, you know, a 10-minute and a 5-minute, and then I'm gonna do some, you know, stuff for work tomorrow. No, it's 1 a.m. I've played matches because I didn't get the score I wanted to get. I'm like, God bless America.
It's like, I know I'm gonna get it next try. Just one more try, and then
one more. That's it. One more try. You know, actually, thinking about one more try and like putting more quarters. Have you ever played the Pac Man Battle Royale with any friends at an arcade? Have you guys even seen those?
I played it in Denver in November, and I can't remember who I played with.
Right. You gotta have a friend. There's no purpose to play it by yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you know, it was me and like some of the people from the Kong off. I just can't remember who I played with. I remember that I got eaten on like the first screen, and I just got frustrated and walked away. I was like, this game's shit, and I walked away.
There's a game.
No, it's actually a fun game. I would play it again. I just was bitter that day because I lost right away. I got eaten by another player. I was like, what's going on? This isn't Pac Man.
Yeah. I wish they had a one-player or something like that in there, you know, at these Dave and Buster's and all these places like that. I was like, oh, I wish they had a little bit. It has a one-player, but you're playing the computer, and there's really no aspect to play as one. But in terms of like a tournament style, I think that would be really cool. You got some Pac-Man champions. Maybe Pac-Man Champion DX version would probably be the best at it, but get Mitchell in there, get David Race, and give me another Pac-Man champion.
Because those guys played at the release when they released Championship Edition. They had like a Pac-Man. It was like, you know, the 20th. It was some anniversary of Pac-Man, and they had a big event, and they got all those people together, and they had a competition on that game. You know, it was like the first time any of them got to see it, and it's like, man, if I would have only been around the scene for that, like I would have loved to have been there. You know, I just didn't know it yet.
I love watching the videos on YouTube of that too. I think Mitchell got like 7th or something like that.
It was pretty
there was
neat.
a prize that Namco and Xbox gave out too. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, a bunch of nice Pac-Man related swag. But there was a PAX, the Northeast PAX tournament that they have, where I guess, or not tournament, PAX event that they have up in Boston. There was a tournament for Championship Edition DX like a year, maybe last year or a little over a year ago. It was in November, and I didn't go. And they posted like the semifinal and the final run on YouTube, you know, and it was like salt in the wounds because I really wanted to go, and then at the last minute I was like, man, I feel bad driving 7 hours, you know, and it was just like I don't know, you know what I mean, like
yeah.
But in the same sense, I really did want to go because it's like, if there's ever going to be one time in your life where anyone's going to actually appreciate you for playing this game, it's going to be, you know, at a PAX event when they're having a tournament for it. So whatever, there was only 2 tournaments for this game, or this type of game, ever, and I missed them both. But maybe someday there'll be another one. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be. What I was thinking would be cool, maybe on our show here, or maybe in LA over there in the Twin Galaxies Live studio, if we could somehow get a Pac-Man Battle Royale arcade machine and have this an event where we take a Pac-Man championship, DX champion, we get Billy Mitchell, Tim Bell, I can't think of his name.
Ramos.
He could play in it, and we could put me in there. I'm the champion of the other one.
Hey, you got your certificate to prove it.
Just have like an hour of us playing battle royale, trying to eat each other. I mean, I think that'd be pretty highly entertaining.
I'd play
and
it too,
probably
man.
fun too. Okay, Glenn, you can have my spot. I should retire, actually.
No, we can both play
you're
it,
too
Mike.
good.
No, I don't want to play. Only one representative from Settle Down. We'll have our own tournament. What do you think about that?
Maybe the video VGC, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now we're
I'll
talking.
bow out of the Pac-Man tournament. How about that, Mike?
Okay, you can bow out. Yeah, I totally agree with you. For those of you joining in, welcome to Settle Down on Screen. We're here to talk about the competitive part gaming. Competitive? We're here to talk about the competitiveness of Galaxies and how the scoreboards come back. Our guest is Ethan Daniels. I just want to kind of if you're enjoying his gameplay or if you want to, he plays Donkey Kong and he seems to stream a lot of that. His Twitch handle is F_symbols. He also broadcasts on Hitbox as well. So if you want to check out some of his, I guess we could talk about that a little bit. What's the Donkey Kong? You have your own arcade machine, or I don't know too much.
I do.
Oh,
So,
Time to go destroy it.
Yeah.
all right, so
Nick coming to your house and burning it.
Yeah, we have an idea of what we are going to do with all the Donkey Kong machines out there.
well, you'll have to come get mine.
That's fine. We will travel the country.
Travel the country to find them all and to decimate them.
Yeah, and in honor of Donkey Kong, we'll bring a hammer with us.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it properly.
Mario. We'll be dressed up as Mario.
It's the same. He's in the game. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it needs to. I was gonna say it needs to look exactly like the hammer that Jumpman uses.
Yeah. Oh, it will. It will.
I'll stand there and be out up as the princess.
That's acceptable.
We can make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. We have the hammer. I'll drop a barrel on it, and then Mike will light a fire.
Yep.
And we'll have a big bonfire with it. We'll have a party and everything.
We'll put it in an oil barrel. Put all the PCB boards inside and just burn them.
We'll go to the local mobile station and just have a party.
Yep.
And I'll bring caramel whiskey again.
Yeah. There you go, man.
Come on.
I'm too slow.
Where's Ken Cade
So-
telling us to be doing this?
All right, so the Donkey Kong story is, I was playing this game, and it took a really long time, like, to get pretty far up the leaderboard, and then I broke the top 10, and I was like, whatever, I'm gonna keep going, and then, like, there's just, I mean, I don't know, anybody who's ever pressed for, like, something that there's a lot of baby steps along the way to get to the top, like, it's kind of hard to keep your motivation, and, like, there would be times where I, like, stop playing for a month or 2 or 3, or, it'd, like, take a backseat to projects in school or, like, my comprehensive exams or something like that, and at any rate, like, I was in one of these droughts where I wasn't really playing, and I played disc golf, or frisbee golf, if you guys have ever heard of that.
There's a course right by our house, yeah.
Really? Yeah, man. That's good stuff. It's free and it's golf. Like, you get like the head mental game of golf where it's just like, you could lose everything completely in like 3 seconds, or you could keep it together and play a great round, and it's free and it's nature. So anyway, I was out playing a lot of disc golf again with a bunch of the people that I golf with, and one of my buddies was like, what's life like, and how's the city? And I was telling him about this Pac Man game, and he was like, oh man, did you ever see this movie King of Kong? It's about Donkey Kong in this movie, and this guy plays Pac Man in the movie, and you'd probably appreciate it. And I ended up watching the movie, and I never really thought about playing Donkey Kong from watching the movie, but somehow, like, that movie was inspirational for me to, like, keep grinding. For, you know what I mean? Like, this game, I was like, I'm content, being number 2 in the world. And then I was like, I'd watch King of Kong, and I'd be like, damn it, if Weeby can do it, I can do it, So that was, it sounds dumb, it sounds dumb, but, like, along the way, like, it's really easy to, like, lose interest and, get back into doing something different in your life, especially if you have, like, a lot of diverse interests, or if you're busy, it's like, it's really easy to fill a couple hours of your day and stop doing what you were doing. So, long story short, like, I kept grinding, I finally got to be, like, the top at this game, and then I stopped playing, and I moved out of Philadelphia, and I had I started work and I got out of grad school. I had a good year. I had an extra bedroom in the house that I was renting, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy some arcade games. And
That's
I just
awesome.
ran, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a Pac Man. I felt obligated to buy a Pac Man because of this game. I was like, this game is the reason that I'm gonna get into classic gaming, so I have to get a Pac Man cab. And then I was like, well, because of the movie, maybe I'll just get a Pac Man. I got a Pac Man and a Donkey Kong together, and that's when I started playing DK. I just cold turkey bought the cab and started playing, and then the rest is history. I've been banging my head against the wall now for 2 years with this silly game.
There's nothing. King of Kong is the gateway drug into this community. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's how so many people. That's how I got involved in all this too. Basically, Mike just showed me that movie, and it was like, oh man, it was it's hard not to want to try after you watch that film.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. And I'm not saying this to sound like pompous or conceited in any way, but after seeing the movie and doing a little bit of research into the Donkey Kong community, when I found out that that not only the people from the movie had good scores, but that there was a whole new culture and a new scene out there, and then I found out that the world record holder was a Harvard graduate who is a plastic surgeon. It was just man. Yeah. It's maybe this really is the community. If you're a gamer, and you think that you're a good gamer or you want to actually be a competitive gamer, basically, I got in my mind that these were the people to, if there's a measuring stick to measure yourself against, these were the people. So that was the allure of, the mystique of it's being I don't know, an elitist, all the people that were good at any kind of gaming ended up playing this game. That was sort of what sucked me into it. It was well, am I good at this Pac-Man game because nobody else plays it, or am I good at this Pac-Man game because I'm decent at video games? So that was kind of another draw, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
It does. I mean, that's kind of why I'm here too. I mean, this is granted those aren't my type of games, but the same type of aspect is when it comes to it, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I never had that mentality before. It was just well, it's you get there, you get really good at one game, and it's well, I don't know, is this a fluke or what? And it wasn't a priority before that, but it was well, it's worth investigating,
Oh yeah. And what Twin Galaxies kind of did for me, it kind of brought some joy back to some old games that I never played, because it gave me a new reason to kind of play them, and that's what that's kind of my story of how I still would like to play some of them because of that reason. So you're number 40th, huh? 900,000? 4?
Yeah, okay, yeah, so I got my first kill screen in March, a week before the first tournament that I played in. And then a week later, and that was an 894,000 or something like that, right? And then a week later, I played in my first Donkey Kong tournament, and I got all the way to the kill screen, and get this, I died on the kill screen before the kill screen bug kicked in. I grabbed the hammer, and I went running over to smash the barrel, and I ran straight into the barrel. So,
oh, dude, that sucks.
The only reason I'm even mentioning this is because not only was it my first tournament, but there was a bounty for the first kill screen, and I would have gotten it, but it ended up that technically I didn't get the first kill screen, so I didn't get the bounty, but that was my 904,000 point score that I got a week out. So it was my second kill screen that I got a week after my first kill screen. And I haven't improved that score since I got it, and that was March of last year. And I've just been playing way over my head for a little over a year now, and it's super frustrating. I'd like to think that if I put
that's a great score still,
it,
though, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. It's frustrating, though, at times.
Especially if you've been playing that long. I mean.
Yeah, I was motivated. I came home and I was putting in a couple hours. Well, let's see. I probably played at least 3 days a week for at least 3 hours for the first 3 months. So, if you're doing something 10 hours a week, that's fairly... And another, you guys know, anytime you get into a new game or a new interest, it's still... I don't know how to explain it. Your motivation levels are higher.
Oh my god!
I know I can't put that. I can't
I
put
come
down
home
Grand
from work
Theft Auto.
now and I go to like, all right, I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna try and get 1.1 million, and I'll play for 2 hours, and I'm just like, I'm done. And like back in the beginning, I would die 70, 80, 90 times on a night, and I would just be like, start. I just keep dropping. I was like way more stubborn, and I don't know, because it had that mystique. So I think the reason I progressed so quickly was because I was just pretty dedicated right in the beginning. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
there's nothing quite like a new obsession because it's completely illogical. It's based on nothing but a feeling. So, and when you lose that feeling, it's real hard to get it back. I mean, you like can't artificially manufacture it. So
it's true.
I definitely get that, and it's hard. I mean, it really is. On occasion, you can get it back, but it's really just that first push that it's hard to replicate, unfortunately. And that's why certain players, even like a Billy Mitchell, who's stuck with it that long, like that's amazing, really. Because it's like, what would be the motivation after a while? Yeah, really, it's like it's incredible, actually. Like, I don't know, that's the type of player that's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even if he isn't the best anymore, it's like he still like wants to play it. Like almost like why? Like,
See, that's where I am. I'm where you are. It's like I have when it comes to this game, I don't want to play unless somebody beats me.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what Twin Galaxies does for me. If somebody beats me, then that gives me another purpose to enjoy the game again. I know it sounds kind of pathetic.
No, but it's true though.
It does, because it is just a game. So I'm just trying to improve myself, not so much enjoy the game. I know I got to start doing that, enjoying some video games instead of being ultra competitive. That's what Grand Theft Auto 5's for. So just driving around, running people over.
Yeah, well, that's what that game's for.
So of all the lines in the King of Kong movie that were bogus, one of the things that Billy said that really hits true to home, and you don't know it until you get there, is that I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of the hardest thing in the world is staying on top once you get there. You know what I mean? It like basically it's harder to stay on top than it is to get on top. And like I didn't really understand what he meant by that, but it's not. He's not saying like it. It's harder to get better. It's harder to stay motivated to get better because you got there. And it's like, well, you met your goal. And it's like, how do you keep? You know what I mean? I think that's what he meant by that. Like he wasn't. You lose that. You lose your drive or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's where you need.
And then someone beats you, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, what's up? Let me get this.
No, honestly, it's almost like a philosophical argument of that's the whole thing. Like, what happens when you actually have your dreams come true? Like, then what?
Then what? What are you gonna do?
No, it is one of those things. It's a hard thing. Obviously, it's your goal. You want to reach your goals, but when you actually do reach your goals, all you have to go to is then, well, now what?
Now what am I gonna do?
Now what?
And that's why you do usually move on to something else. Because I mean, you're not just gonna. No one wants to. I mean, it's very rare that someone wants to just sustain normalcy. Yeah, I mean, it just gets boring.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm a little bit different though. I always want to try and improve on my goals and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. No, and that's hard, and I think that's rare. Actually, I really do think it's rare. I know I'm not like that at all.
Yeah.
And that's a huge trait that makes world champions is the willingness to give. You know what I mean? Like a lot of, and I don't mean this as an insult to anyone because I'm probably this is a statement that's inclusive of my situation with this game is that I put in a lot of freaking time. Probably way more than I should have, and way more than most people would have. And that right there is a reason why I feel like, I might have the score that I have compared to other people. It's not necessarily the ability as much as it is the motivation and dedication to just grind. Like, there's people that are good. Like Tim Zerbe's a great example of that in the Donkey Kong community because he'll just play and play and play and play and play and play and play. Like he may use a strategy that's not the best or the most likely to survive, but he'll put in the number of attempts, and that's the he's I don't know what you call that kind of person, but someone that's willing to just do it over and over and over and over. That's a world champion trait right there. Whatever it is, it's like an obsessive trait almost.
Oh, it is. It's completely obsessive, and it's also why it's why people compare video games to sports. Even though I don't really think it's a sport, but it's a competition. Someone like
competition is.
Yeah, it's someone like Tom Brady. It's like, dude, what are you doing still playing football? Like, you're 38 years old. If you're getting your ass kicked out there, you're not gonna win. You're probably not gonna win the Super Bowl again. It's like almost like, dude, you're a zillionaire. You've won 3 Super Bowls. Why are you still trying?
Yeah.
Like, when you look at him and he looks like he's still trying harder than anyone else out there. Yeah. Anyone else who hasn't accomplished anything near what he has. Yeah. But, I mean, and that's why it's rare. That's why it's hard. That's why there is only one Michael Jordan. There is only one Peyton Manning, because these things don't come along.
One Derek Jeter.
No, it's true. And that is why you see some guys who play for a couple of years and go, I'm good.
Yep. I made it.
I made it. I made it to the. I'm good. I don't need all that. I don't need championships and stuff like that. And
I got my money.
No, it's true, and I think that's the majority, actually.
Oh yeah, by far.
I know that's how I would be.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, why would you put yourself through something like that? And even through video games, obviously, it's not physically demanding. You're not, your body isn't being destroyed and all that stuff. But at the same time, like, it's so much easier just to go. You know what? I was good for a while. I'm not that good anymore. I'm good though. I'll do something else now.
Different.
Yeah, which is also good for especially video games, because it's nice to have changing of the guards and
fresh
everything.
People, yeah.
Fresh people. I think it's good.
People.
Yeah, you don't always want the same guy on top. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of boring after a while. I like what you said about Hank Chen, though, because I really do think Hank Chen kind of changed the stereotype and helped alleviate the stereotype of it.
Yep.
Because even though Weeby was awesome, I mean, Weeby's a great guy. He is. We've met him a couple times. He's awesome. But
drank too much with him.
Yeah, no, that's why he's a blast. But Hank Chen was awesome. Like, to be like, wow, like this Harvard graduate who's actually like a successful, career-minded person, and he's good at this too. So I really think that helped
it
all.
A big difference. Just like
it's not even about the game there. It's like, oh man, it's like here's a chance to compare oneself to a Harvard grad. Here's a chance to compare oneself to a plastic surgeon, and not just that, but either one of those things on their own might not necessarily mean that the person's an amazing human being, but to have both of those things together, to have a successful life and to have a world record in a competitive video game, it's like, you know what I mean? The person's got their shit going, at least somewhat. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's almost neat how that works. That's like, I feel like that's one of the strongest magnets in Donkey Kong, is that, people like Hank and people like Dean, and, people that have just gone leaps and miles above and are naturally gifted or talented at gaming as it is. Like Ross is another prime example of that. Like, I feel like Ross could essentially max out any game that's out there. And I think someday Ross will probably have the MAME Zookeeper record, if not the MAME and arcade Zookeeper
Hey guys,
records.
This is Twin Galaxies Live. Just letting you guys know you have 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Yep. And you're totally right, and it's great too, because it gets rid of that excuse before you're like, well, I work so hard all the time. I don't just sit in my mom's basement and play these games. Of course, I'm not as good as him. And now you see these people, and you're like, no, they're really good at their jobs, and they have successful lives, and they're good. And you're like, oh man, okay, well, I guess maybe I can do this,
Yeah, exactly.
I work at a liquor store. Most people don't believe that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I believe you.
I'm a barber. I got a barber shop.
Sweet. You guys believe me because you guys have hung out with me.
Yeah.
That's not true. I mean, that is the reason, but it's not true. I believe you anyway, buddy.
Do what makes you happy, man.
Exactly.
Right. Thanks for coming on the show this week. I'm excited to see some scores from you too, and watch some of your replays when I go on my PlayStation for sure. Check out your skills.
30 seconds remaining.
Next week we may have a guest. We may not have a guest.
It's up in the air now.
It's up in the air. We have possibly a new world record holder. If we don't, you definitely. Well, still, you want to tune in next week anyways, because
it could be our favorite waterbound mammal friend.
We could have dolphin. So
live on the air
next week here in studio. FGC is up next for my hosts Glenn and Nick. We'll see y'all next week, and be good to yourself.